This short presentation is about Thomas Aquinas on the conduct of sales and on information asymmetry. The chapter on conduct of sales and information asymmetry is in his book, the Summa Theologiae. I'm showing you the title here on the slide, showing you the standard English translation and another translation that I proposed, which I think is easier makes it more accessible, on misselling. The overview, this talk comes in 4 sections. I'd like to say a few words about the background of Thomas Aquinas, and then we'll look at the chapter itself, which has 4 articles. Article 3 is the one that we're interested in most, but we'll talk about the other 3 to give the background to it. And finally, I'll close with a slide on references and secondary literature. Now, Thomas Aquinas came from a very important elite family. His uncle was regent of the Kingdom of Sicily. He had relatives who were professors, poets, and diplomats, and his mother, Theodora Caracciolo, came from a distinguished aristocratic family in Italy. In fact, that family is still prominent in Italian life today, and Wikipedia can give you more information on them. Of the 4 articles in the Quaestio of concern here, there are 3 that give a good background to his views on information asymmetry. Article 1 is about overcharging, where Thomas Aquinas states that overcharging is something that the law will be very poorly equipped to stop. Article 2 is about false advertising, about passing off a product as something else, about incorrect information about quantity or quality of a product. And Article 4 makes the assertion that trade is an important and necessary link in a functioning economy. Now, on to Article 3 about disclosing risks to the buyer. There are 2 cases that Thomas Aquinas discusses. The first, selling a horse, the second about selling food. And that second case is known under the heading of the Merchant of Rhodes, because it's a very old case discussed in ancient Greek philosophy. Let's look at these 2 cases one by one. Selling horses would not seem an everyday market to us today, but in the Middle Ages, where people had no other means of transport, where cars were not invented, a horse had much the same function as a car would have today. So selling horses was a very important transaction in the lives of most retail customers. Thomas Aquinas has 2 examples for a fault in a horse. 1, that a horse is lame. 2, that a horse might have only one eye. What's the seller to do? Should he disclose that a horse is lame, that it is one-eyed? Should he disclose both faults, or neither of them? Thomas Aquinas explains the difference between the 2 cases. In the first case of a lame horse, a customer will not be able to see that and find out until after the sale is closed. So therefore, not to disclose that lameness makes the sale fraudulent. In the case of a blind horse, however, of a horse that has one eye, the customer will find out on their own. And it's something that a customer can do without the seller pointing this out to him. So therefore, the seller should disclose lameness, but need not disclose a blind eye. A customer, in sum, needs to exercise due diligence. Now to the issue of the Merchant of Rhodes, a case that was already discussed by the Roman Stoic Cicero. Suppose the following situation. There's a famine on the island of Rhodes, which has driven up food prices. Suppose there are several merchants setting sail from Alexandria to deliver grain to the island, and let's suppose one merchant arrives ahead of all the others. That merchant is the only person in the marketplace who knows about the imminent arrival of competitors. When they arrive, the price of grain will start to go down because there's abundant supply. So what's he to do? Should he take advantage of the ignorance of his customers, or should he share his knowledge? Views on this differ. Cicero, the Roman Stoic, said, "It is not in accord with nature that anyone should take advantage of his neighbor's ignorance." The early Roman Christian economist Ambrose of Milan said, "When a man is forever chasing higher and higher prices, it is a sign of cunning, but not of openness and honesty. And in the 13th century, Thomas Aquinas considered the case of the merchant of Rhodes again. And in his opinion, the merchant was not breaking any law by remaining silent. So therefore, he could not be accused of having acted unfairly if he doesn't tell anyone about the imminent arrival of competitors. It would be exceedingly virtuous, he concedes, if he did that, but there was no reason why he would be compelled to do that. So in summary, Thomas Aquinas approved of the profit principle in sales. Thomas Aquinas distinguished between selling and mis-selling, and Thomas Aquinas scoped the economics of information asymmetry. So lastly, some references where you can find the chapter itself in Latin and in English translation, and secondary literature relating thereto. Thank you for listening.